good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to this video. Apologies, I don't have my microphone. I haven't done a car video in a while. Forgot how loud it can be. I just wanted to pop on and go into a little bit of flow. So much to update on. There are so many things going on, you guys. I could do an energy update probably for an hour. But instead, I'll just go in and see what the guides have to share. And maybe on my next video, I'll do a little energy update. All right, here we go. And so, as we allow ourselves to adjust to the temperature, we will recognize and potentially understand that things are heating up, not only within our own human technology and skin suit, but what we are seeing on the outer limits. There are many different stories that are playing out. There are many different timelines that are trying to be renewed, we might say. And there are other timelines that are truly new that wish to be incorporated or woven into this new reality structure. And while this is a blend or a merge of the old and the new, we seek to recognize that there is no division in this. There must be a center point. There must be an ability to weave together these two realities, for this is where we are at now. So we invite all those who are feeling overwhelmed with the pressure of life. That can look like too much or too little. It can look like many different things depending on the reality structure that we are each experiencing in our own view, in our own matrix, from our own perspective. And so we invite those who are on the track or the path of renewal, of expansion, of joy and harmony, to stay on track, to open up to the possibility that there are more possibilities on their way. There are more probabilities. There are higher forms of consciousness that are weaving their way into our consciousness. Let us play with that for a minute. We each have access to our higher selves, our guides, energies that are potentially bigger than we think we are. And we share this, and when we say we are referring to just this. For I, Carrie, am a plethora of collective energies. And as I drop in or tune into my frequency of peace, I'm able to then weave and connect with these other templates or structures and weave them into this template, in this structure, here and now. And while some of the messages that come through for this particular channel I'm seeing lots of pictures right now, and I'll just share, sometimes they just seem useless, or they seem too out there or quantum for me to then share with you guys or to interpret correctly. These are not necessarily pieces of information, for example, that are shared with the collective right now, yet just by me, I'm hearing Carrie, tuning in and allowing these messages to pour through me, it activates certain potentials within my own field. It means that I'm more open to that form of communication. This is not to imply that all humans, in order to expand our human potential, need to channel. We're trying to paint a picture right now, for we are all many things embodied in oneness. We are part of the oneness. It is a collective, a collection of energy and frequencies that make adjustments in order to structure the template or the avatar, from one perspective, that we are operating. And so the more open we can be to the we, to the team of helpers that we each have around us at all times, coming up from within us, for without us making the internal connection, it is almost impossible to make the seemingly external communication and connection as well. So why are we sharing this now? Many people are asking for help. Many people are looking for their own resources to assist them in navigating the heat, the heightened anxiety and chaotic template that has been, I'm hearing, overlaid to undermine humanity. But we're not here to speak about us versus them. We instead are here to remind everyone that we each have within us a huge collective of helpers, of energy weavers. This does not have to be in the form of a woman or a man or any presentation of a human. It does not have to be in the form of anything in particular. It can be sound, color, light waves, nature, for all is woven through this pattern that is the structure of life. And so I'm thinking of structured water, for example. The structure is always morphing and shifting. We've gone from a template that was quite locked in, that was quite fixed, one might say, in a network of density irregularities that became regular. Now we are set with the mission, one might say, of deconstructing, decomposing, and untangling from this mass disinformation, energetic, I'm just seeing a rat's nest. So we believed in something so long that it became our structure. And once you're embedded in it with your consciousness, and we begin to see things in a certain way, even though they're not necessarily that way in truth, it doesn't matter. We're still continuously projecting that reality. So this is the message that I'm getting. And we, as the collective now that is present here on Earth, are in that process of unearthing the truth of what and who we are and what and we are capable of. So this is a time of reorganization and adjustments, because we cannot just jump into this new way of being. I'm hearing it causes like a shock to our system. It's like a shock syndrome. And many people are experiencing shock syndrome. They are being given a jolt, one might say, where it seems as if nothing is unfolding the way they had planned, or how they would like things to go. But we are encouraging everyone to access this field that we all have access to. While there are many things within the field we are encouraged not to necessarily access, that do not necessarily benefit our growth potential, we also recognize that there are people who are curious. I'm hearing curiosity killed the cat, and then I'm seeing Schrodinger's cat, which I still don't quite understand. Sorry, you physics, science. I know a lot of times I get on here and I just share what's coming through. For we have the ability to be in two places at once. Yeah, we are here now. And so we are weaving that multidimensionality, which gives us access to our higher potentials. It helps us to see beyond this glass cage, one might say, this glass bubble that's already been shattered, yet many are looking to repair the pieces. And I'm seeing that scene from The Labyrinth. Have you guys ever seen that? It's such a good movie, but I grew up watching The Labyrinth. And there's a scene where basically the bubble gets burst, and this reality that she thinks she's in, she fell asleep, got pulled into this reality, dancing with the goblin, whatever we'll just say David Bowie. Who wouldn't want to dance with David Bowie? Maybe not in that outfit. Anyways, I digress. But essentially, she then wakes up inside this dream and realizes that she's kind of, ate from the poison fruit. It's kind of like Snow White. Took a bite out of the apple and then fell asleep. The apple is in reference to our toroidal field. The apple is in reference to our spin, our apple, our true creative force. And so our true creative force, we've been siphoning it off from one perspective, feeding portions of reality that may or may not have supported us at one time, but are no longer holding the charge that is required to move forward in a much more streamlined and expansive way. And so what I'm being shown is that it's important for us to, what I'm hearing is level out. So slow and steady. So it's like pay attention to how our bodies are feeling. This is common sense. So I'm seeing lots of different messages here. Let me get back on track. Oh, that is the message. Stay on track. So we might have moments of curiosity. We may be completely pulled into a particular story or paradigm. But part of that can sometimes be to help us dissolve it. I'm hearing collapse it. Because when we see it, it's no longer hidden, right? We've heard that before. But also when we see it, it gives us the ability to see more. And I've been writing about this a lot. I haven't posted all of it because it's a lot. But essentially, my guides keep saying that when you look at something now with eyes to see, and it's in comparison to something the same thing maybe you looked at before when you weren't aware, when you didn't know, when you weren't as expansive, or you didn't realize you were as expansive. Because a lot of this has to do with our belief system around being our potentials. You see the reality in a completely different way, which creates a different harmonic. So that, it's like when you're doing a science experiment and they always talk about the scientist actually influences the outcome if the photon is going to be a wave or a particle. Is that how it works? Particle or wave? I'm probably messing that up, but you kind of, so our view, our perception, our observation is actually having an impact on our reality. So how we see things, our perception is everything. And that was something I didn't quite understand until recently when I've been writing this. I'm like, oh, okay. So now I am perceiving things as Carrie, having the experiences that I've had, that I didn't have that same perception 6 months ago. And while that might seem minor, a lot of people are going through stuff right now. I've been hearing a lot of, this isn't fair, why me? I don't think that I deserve this, or they don't understand why it's happening to them. So that's a little bit of why me, but maybe they're saying, okay, it's happening to me, but why? And, or why is this happening to others? And that's a big question right now. But my guidance team over and over again is basically showing me that it's to have a certain experience. And it may not seem like a good experience at the time. In my reality, I've had a lot in my lifetime of what I could look back on and say, awful experiences. At the time, they were awful. Yet now I have integrated, for what I believe, there may be things that come up that I realize, oh, I didn't integrate that. That are gifting me the opportunity to see things more clearly now. The other message isn't just about that. It's about the fact that we are activating this higher human template. when we go into the field and we drop into our own presence, we become presence with our thoughts, our feelings, our all of it. We are then also enhancing our perspective. We are feeling into the field. A lot of people want to connect with their guides, and they want to connect with the Akash, or they want, etc. Well, that doesn't happen for most of us. Some people just have that crown or pineal wide open. But for most of us, it requires us to meditate, to do yoga or stretches and exercise, Tai Chi, whatever it might be, to get our right and left hemispheres of our brain synced up. Sometimes it requires us to do shadow work to get out of our fear of what happens when you do make those connections. I had to go through that. And so on and so forth. So it does require us to do work. And if you're not sure what that work is, start asking, and it'll show up for you as a synchronicity, which is the next message I wanted to end on. Or book a session. It doesn't have to be with me, with anyone that you feel might be able to help you, give you guidance, give you insights, right, to what it is that you're seeing, feeling, maybe not understanding. I don't know if I mentioned this. I had a session recently with Daniel Scranton. I really enjoy the Arcturians and the guides. And you're not necessarily always going to get the answers that you want from someone else, but they can sometimes offer you concepts or guide you in a particular direction that you might not have thought about before that interaction. And sometimes it's just about having that interaction, that experience. That is what enhances your journey. And I've had sessions where I didn't feel like anything happened, yet that was the gift. I realized the gift was in me, and I didn't need that particular person to guide me. Or they gave me nothing except for one sentence, and that sentence changed my life. This happens a lot, and this leads me into synchronicity. Recently, I had a loved one say to me, I'm asking, but I'm not getting answers. And I would love to do a whole video on this, and I should include it in some training, but I just, for years, haven't quite been able to put those together. A lot of content, haven't created a lot of classes. Someday. Needless to say, the easy answer to that is you're just not necessarily, if this is you, it's not that you're not getting answers, you just don't know where to look, or you're not looking in the right places, or you're not open to be receiving them. And that's, everybody's different. I can already hear somebody that might say, well, I am open. I've been doing this, this, and that, and I'm still not getting any answers. Whenever I do, well, this is even as applicable for me, just because I oftentimes the reason I'm not getting an answer is because I'm looking for it in a particular place to come through in a particular way. I'm not, and that does multiple things. It kind of closes the field. It puts me in a place where I am less open to other possibilities. Let's say I'm asking about a particular person. Well, I'm looking for answers to come from that particular person or that environment that that person is located in, like work, for example. It may be that I get the answer when I'm sitting on the beach one day and somebody walks up to me and starts a conversation that I never would have started had I have not been friendly with them. And then all of a sudden they bring up the synchronicity or a comment that makes me realize, oh, that's what I was needing to do. And that leads, it's just, everything's connected. So if you're one of those who's having trouble, and I'll do this as a clip, if you're one of those people having trouble connecting with your guides, where you're not getting the answers, start looking for the synchronicities outside of the question that you've been asking. It doesn't always come the way we expect it. To go further into that, looking for answers, don't look too hard. Just let it go and be open to what comes up. I used this as an example the other day. Let's say you're trying to make a decision, and you're trying to make a decision about where to work. One person that wanted to hire you, this would be a good problem to have, right? Well, I'll actually go into that a little more in a different video. But my point is that it's all about being aware of your surroundings. And the field, we talk about the field. Field is this plasmatic, electrical, globulous energy that's around all of us, that is we are encased within, from my perspective. So what does that mean? Utilizing everything. But I also see the field as beyond everything we can see. So when I do my meditation, I close my eyes and I go into that field, which incorporates everything that I can see because it's now inside my memory complex. But it goes beyond the things that I can see, and that's when I'm connecting to potential collectives of energy from other planetary systems, from my DNA ancestors. So, the song lines, as the Aborigines say, as Dan Winters talks about all the time. All right, on this note, you guys, in love and light, it's I keep getting the message, heat. Things are heating up. So it's important for us to really fine-tune what we have learned and what we are still learning. And it's like, this is it. This is our time to use all of our tricks in our bag. Whew. So, in love and light, namaste.